Let's go into the order of the day. This is, I guess, the order of the day. Remember this, crypto gaming is mainstream normie narrative. It's 10,000 times easier to understand than your favorite layer 3 ZK whatever. And best of all, normies are not here yet. Crypto gaming has not even begun its warpath. Alex Becker had a similar tweet. He said, if you look at the market cap of all crypto gaming, it's 13 billion. If you look at the market cap of Doge during the bull run, it was 70 billion. One meme coin, just for reference, how little money is actually invested in it. So, I mean, it is the beginning. Again, it's the beginning of the crypto gaming cycle, I guess, right? Walk me through where we're at and walk me through where we're going.
Yeah, so the thesis on gaming is very simple. There is no consumer category that makes as much sense because gamers already trade digital stuff. They trade digital stuff not because they're looking for profits, but because they enjoy it, right? And there's no other use case that's like that. People actually want to wear the digital stuff. They use it. And so find me another industry that's doing $200 billion in digital stuff that's uniquely, for its intrinsic value. So with that, we all know that. And that's the thing is, people understand that crypto gaming makes sense, but the problem is they get frustrated because they haven't seen it explode. They haven't seen the hit game yet. And then you get to the reality that gaming is a hits-driven business and that people do enjoy using the digital stuff, but they enjoy it because they are already interested in that digital world and they enjoy the digital world that the digital stuff is a part of. It's not just that they like digital clothing. It's that they enjoy Fortnite or they enjoy their favorite game.
I agree. But is there a crypto game that's fun to play? Like I must say, I agree with everything that you're saying, and I agree that crypto gamers are completely obsessed with goodies and collecting goodies, and they've been doing it long before skins and good in-game items were an industry long before crypto ever existed. But I haven't seen any crypto games that are fun to play. Like honestly, Axie Infinity, which you could argue was probably the most used game in crypto, it's a terrible game to play. Sorry. I mean, I know some people in the Philippines made a lot of money playing it, but it's not a fun game to play. I don't know. I mean, unless I'm seeing it wrong.
No, I mean, I think that that's the opinion. Everyone has that opinion, right? It's like, where are the fun games? And this is the thing, right? You had the most investment of any sector coming into gaming. Games take, 2 to 4 years. The good games take about 2 to 4 years to build. So you have all this investment coming in at the end of 2021, right? Axie exploded in July. People weren't sure if it was a real thing. So Q3, Q4 is when these pitch decks started getting together for crypto games. So now we're about 2 years after, and you're starting to see things come to market slowly or present themselves. And over the next sort of 18, 24 months, you're going to start seeing not just one, but dozens and dozens of games hit the market. And do we know if those will be true hits, right? It's a hits-driven business. We don't. But the amount of at-bats that this industry is going to have is tremendous. And so the question is not if, it's when. And when that happens, I think that it's going to spark a change in sort of online culture. There's a lot of stigma against NFTs because of what people perceive as low quality associated with those NFTs in the games. That'll change. And it's just a matter of letting these devs get their hard. Like I've seen so many games teams and they work, in my opinion, harder than most teams in the industry because it's so hard to create a high quality game. And on top of it, they need to build protocol level technology to make it palatable for the gamers. In my opinion, spinning up a DeFi protocol, I've seen really good teams spin these up in a couple of months, sometimes weeks, sometimes, a year. But you're talking about games teams working for 2 to 4 years on this stuff. So these people are in deep and they're really true believers. And so it's not a question to me of if it'll happen, it's a question of when it happens. And once it happens, you're going to have a flood. You're going to have like an absolute avalanche.
When? This year? Next year? When do you think we'll see a crypto game that is actually successful, gets real world adoption, not just people trading it because Philippines want to make a minimum wage or more than a minimum wage playing on computers?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that is the big question. And the response is that I'll be there when it happens. I'll be there when it happens. And I've not given up on this since 2018. I've been saying this. I'm so focused on this. And I expected it to happen a little sooner. But, talking with Robbie at Immutable X, there are so many games coming to market right now. And so the question is really just who's going to crack the code and build that mainstream following. And I'm excited to see who does it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of hardworking teams out there. In my opinion, saying exactly when it is foolish, right? We might be 24, might be 25, but I think this cycle we'll see a game with millions of active users in it, and that's going to change the stigma.
So when you look at the gaming sector, the gaming narrative, talk me through some of the best projects that you think are in the gaming thing. I'm actually going to call up the gaming sector on CoinGecko just so we can follow the tokens. But just give me walk me through. And I mean, I'm not asking you to put your finger. I know you've made some really good calls on your channel. You can talk about those, but give me some ideas of right now what you think are the smartest plays for someone who's watching this and says, you know what, I like what Ellio is saying. I want to get into gaming. I'm not an expert. Tell me where I should go and what I should do.
So that's exactly the question that I saw as kind of like a big issue, because we have these conversations for years now. And by within a couple of minutes, everyone goes, we get it, Elliot. We get it. Like, crypto gaming's the future. Now what? And so everyone says, okay, we get it. We want to root for this. We want to allocate to this. What do we do next? And then there's a really long discussion to be had, because it becomes quite complex. And then when you start really identifying the fact that it is hits driven, you start needing to break things down into sectors. In my opinion, the simple way to do this, the sort of risk adjusted way to do this, is to bet on infrastructure and to bet on things that really appeal to more than one game, right? And so you're talking about infrastructure where they actually host games on the chains, like Immutable X, those types of projects that effectively are infrastructure. Obviously on a video I did a few weeks ago, we broke those down.
Some of the viewers that don't know what Immutable X is, just walk us through exactly what it is.
So Immutable X is building sort of easy ways for mainstream games to come onto the blockchain. They're a layer 2 scaling solution on Ethereum. And now they've partnered up with Polygon and created what I think is actually a really cool technology, which is this ZK EVM app chain world, where they effectively allow game developers to launch their own chains and to have, some coordination between these chains. It really allows game developers to focus on being game developers and not crypto developers, and get access to this world of, high throughput sort of Ethereum backed blockchain tech, which is what everybody wants to be on, at least for now. And
okay,
so
that's Immutable X. It's got a fully diluted valuation of $2.8 billion. It has had an amazing run. I'll quickly just go through the last 90 days. It's been gone up from 50 cents. It's now trading at $1.45. Too late, she cried, or are we still in the game?
I think Immutable X is kind of one of those tokens that you'll see be kind of like a weather truck, like a weather report on the entire gaming space. It's one of the easiest ways to allocate to the space because they have so many games that they're working with and bringing to market. It's like a diversified bet. It's not 100% diversified because they don't work with every game, but it is a diversified bet to say, hey, look, if gaming gets hot, this will get hot. Easy.
Let's go.
And that's why it'll probably keep going if gaming keeps going.
Let's keep going. What else? Where else would you allocate? So you're saying, look, if you want the infrastructure plays, Immutable's one of the infrastructure plays. Any other infrastructure plays? Like one of the plays that people have spoken about is go and invest in Avalanche, because Avalanche has got the subnets, and the subnets are a good play for gaming. Thoughts?
Avalanche is definitely going to be a hotbed for gaming. We're seeing, obviously, that's kind of like saying invest in Solana, invest in Ethereum if you like gaming, because these will be the tokens of the metaverse. I think it's a little indirect. I think these will do well, but I think it is indirect. If you want a more direct way to invest in crypto gaming, you want to look at game studios, you want to look at infrastructure. And so looking at infrastructure and looking at game studios, you have Immutables up there. I went over sort of 4 infrastructure plays on my channel. Ronin is an infrastructure play. You have Ready Games, which is coming to market soon. I'm an investor in that. They're actually helping. They're coming to the NeoTokyo Launchpad, and so launching in partnership with that citizen-led project. Really cool stuff. So Ready Games is not yet on the market, but they have some really cool technology. They help developers come to market with way less friction, really cool technology. And then we have GALA Games, and GALA Games is a publisher, right? So they have a bunch of games. Those are sort of like the 4, publisher plays that I went over that allow you to get a diversified bet on the ecosystem. And the lowest valuation one of those would be Ready Games, who are not yet at this big valuation. And so those are I've invested in all those. I have coins in all those, just to be very clear. But those are kind of the simple ways to allocate, where if gaming gets hot, those will probably grow. They won't be your biggest gainers in the world, right? These aren't going to do 100x, but they will do well with gaming. And that's how you simply allocate from an infrastructure level.
All right, let's talk about, if you want to go a bit more degen than the top level, where do you go? Where do you go down?
So in the end, finding the game that's a hit will be the ultimate winner, right? Because once you have the users, you decide your fate, right? If you have the users, you create all the rules. Everyone is trying to do this, which is find the Web 2 game that, or the game that converts Web 2 users to Web 3 users. That is the holy grail. And so whether you're on Immutable or you're on this, you're on that, the gamers don't care. They want to play the game. And so if you get them into the game and they love it, then you can say, oh, well, we'll make our own chain, we'll make our own this, we'll make our own that. And so the infrastructure then becomes kind of, it's not going to be necessarily the one who holds the keys to the destiny. It's the game. And so that game could end up building an economy of scale bigger than like all of crypto itself. Who knows? Fortnite had hundreds of millions of players at one point, and that's way bigger than all of crypto right now.
So right now, are there any games or gaming studios that you're looking at and saying, these guys could actually have a chance to pull it off?
Yeah, so there's several game studios that are doing well. And obviously the first one that's going to come to market right now is Illuvium. It's screaming at you. It's right at the top of the chart there. They have a huge, so I want to preface this by saying I am in the camp of believing we need to be rooting for all these games. Why? Because once one game succeeds, it sort of blazes a trail for everyone to follow in that path. And it allows for all of these games to end up having a higher chance of success. So once millions of people are playing and enjoying NFT games or crypto games, all the rest of the games in the industry have a higher likelihood of succeeding. Oh, I forgot to say Merit Circle and Beam is the other infrastructure play. I forgot to add them. I'm holding them, very excited about what they're doing. Okay. So from the game studio of Illuvium, the one that's also exploding with interest and excitement is Prime. So that's Parallel's game. They are probably the most crypto native sort of play because they're very, very on-chain driven with their transactions. And it's a card game. It's a turn-based card game. They also have other stuff they're building. So Prime is another one. I also shouted out on my channel. There's so many, so I don't want to make it sound like this is an exhaustive list.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an exhaustive list, but I'm just trying to get, I'm not as in touch with the gaming narrative as you are. So very interested to hear your thoughts and your thought process. I must say, I'm loving this. I'm sure the guys in the audience are loving this. By the way, if you are in the audience, just let us know. Let us know in the comments what you want us to look at. So what else, Ellio? So which other games do you think are good? Let me ask you a question about a game. Star Atlas. That was like so cited to be like the biggest game, and so they lost a lot of their treasury on FTX. They seem to be recovering. I was of the opinion that this game would never launch because it was just too ambitious. I think for me, when a project's too ambitious, I just think it'll never launch. What do you think?
I'm not an expert on Star Atlas, but like I said, I'm rooting for them. And all these games that have been spending years developing, especially one like Star Atlas, which had all these plans, development roadmap, and then ended up losing all this treasury on FTX. Like, you got to feel for these guys. And so, you got to say, okay, like, I feel for them. Does that mean that, obviously FTX claims are now trading at 70, 80 cents. So will they get some of this money back eventually? When? Who knows? But in the end, I'm rooting for these people to succeed. And so one of the things that I'm really focused on, and by the way, I also am a bit biased. I co-founded a project called Superverse. We have a game studio. We're going to
talk about
a game called Imposters. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But obviously, one of the things that I'm really excited about is creating a community that is trying to actively push all these games forward and not so focused on what I've seen over the last 2 years, which is a lot of tribalism and a lot of people just being so cynical about the possibilities of Web3 gaming. Whereas I'm just sort of filled with optimism about it. So that's my perspective, is I believe that I want to support all these games that are ambitiously putting their best efforts forward, even if the game isn't my style, or even if what they're trying to do seems almost too hard to accomplish.
I hear you. Give me some other games that you are supporting. And I know you're supporting all the games, but give me some other ones that you'd be buying, for example, or that you are an investor in. I think let's make it even easier.
So I'm an investor in dozens of games. And so there's a lot here that I could go on and on about. In the end, I believe that, in this market, gaming will get hot because it's so easy to understand. It's so relatable. And the vast majority of people that are coming to this market really do not care about the technicals. In fact, they get frustrated when you get too technical because it makes them feel dumb. It makes them feel excluded. And I also think like a lot of the people even here in crypto land don't care that much about the technicals, and they're the ones who are the hardest core believers. And so one of the reasons why gaming will continue to be a trending topic is because it's so easy to understand and enjoy. And so I could go on.
Let me give you some because they're coming here from the comments and from whatever else. So Prime, you said Prime is a winner in your opinion.
Time has already shown itself to be successful in a lot of ways, and I think that they are a really good model. I'm excited to see what they do. I wouldn't be shocked to see them continue to win. Whether or not they end up becoming a mega mainstream gaming card game success, we'll find out. But it seems like they've been crushing it up to this point. They've definitely been crushing it.
I mean, they had an amazing run. Look at that run. I mean, that's ridiculous. Let us look at another one. So what do you think of Seedify, the Launchpad? I mean, do you think it's wise to put money into a Launchpad? I mean, last bull market, we all put money into Launchpads and we ended up making a lot of money. Do you think investing in a Launchpad now is a good play?
So on my video that I did, I said there's only one category that I'm 100% allocated to. And every other category, I have some cash on the side, a good chunk to keep allocating to the category as we develop in the market, or if we get dips. To me, the gaming launchpad concept was completely bottomed out. You can't get more dead than we were on the gaming launchpad narrative. And so I just said, look, I just want to get to their top tiers. That was my personal goal. So Seedify and NeoTokyo were the two launchpads. Obviously, I'm a co-founder of NeoTokyo, so it's not the same. But in the end, I said, look, I'm fully allocated to Seedify because I just think, look, when the market comes back, whenever that might be, this thing is going to have it's going to be harder to get into these things because they'll be able to have that launchpad excitement. And so this one, I think I was talking about 50 cents or 60 cents, and that was not too long ago. So that one has absolutely cooked.
All right, Vulcan Forged, PYR. That's another one that keeps coming up. Yes or no?
So PYR, they have a bunch of games. They have their own blockchain they just launched. They seem like they're a hardworking team. Again, it's a hits-driven business. Do I know if they're going to have a hit? No, but they seem like they really are cranking hard, and I want to support them on their mission. So I hope they do. I hope they do create a hit.
All right, let's go with the next one. Illuvium. Oh, we're done.
So
right?
Illuvium is one of the most expensive ones, but we should really all be rooting for Illuvium. This is going to be a high-profile launch, and we should just be crossing our fingers and toes that they're able to attract players. And I want to be on team supporting them. Whether or not the turn-based or the auto battler type of style game is your favorite, it's a deep strategy game. I haven't played that game very much, but I'm rooting for them because they will have a chance to impress people, and it's a beautiful game. There's no denying that.
All right, Nakamoto Games had an amazing run. I mean, this thing came back from the dead, and I mean, look at this. Just look at this chart. From 25 cents, it's now trading at 135. So I mean, this thing's done amazingly well.
Yeah, so Naka has a bunch of games, and I think that that's a model that people really resonate with. A lot of on-chain stuff as well, and they just have really good. They're cranking, they're working hard. Again, this is exactly what you want to see: is a chart that's completely dead, community that's completely dead, and the founders and the team don't accept that. They just keep pushing, and that's what you're seeing in a lot of gaming projects, where there is a belief that you always need to find the new shiny thing. And I believe that gaming bucks that trend because you cannot create a sustainable long-term gaming ecosystem in one shot. It's not like a DeFi protocol that just gets all the TVL and it becomes this behemoth. These games teams that have been cranking through the bear market, I think that they will see tremendous upside. And I believe that that's one of the big things that I think is a little different about gaming. And Naka embodies that. They just refuse to die, and look at them, they're thriving, and I love to see it.
One more before we get on to Super, Ellio, and NeoTokyo. ApeCoin, and the reason why I'm asking is that this is it's a project that's linked to an NFT. It's got a crazy community, or has it still got a crazy community? They are delving into gaming. This was cited to be like the Disney of games and metaverse and NFT. What's your feeling now? This is aged for like 2 years or 3 years or whatever the number is. What's your feeling about how this wine is aged?
Yeah, so I was very lucky to get early and get into the apes early. In fact, Bored Apes are the thing that changed my mind about whether NFTs could actually be viable without having full utility. And that was an amazing run. And when ApeCoin finally came, I was holding so many Yuga assets that I gladly took the stimulus and I said, thank you so much, ApeCoin Foundation. And I sold that. And so, seeing it eventually drop down was not a surprise. And to me, it's a question of who's going to get the users. Now, Other Side is being run by some of the bigger executives, like their team with the CTO, I believe, of Epic Games, or some really high up folks at Epic Games, the COO, the former COO of Activision Blizzard. They have the team there. And so the question is, will they be able to create a game with the users? And that's really the question. If they are able to do that, this chart will most likely start to turn upwards like the rest of them.
Would you put your money on the fact that they will right now?
It's hard to say, but in my opinion, if this market goes the way I'm hoping it goes, God candle upwards, etc., lots of excitement, I think Ape is going to be able to show the quality in their output of whatever they're building that's going to get people excited, even if they're not going to end up creating, this mega multiverse that they want to build. I think that it'll perform well with the entire market.
All right, let's shift the discussion to Ellio. And Ellio, what Ellio is building, and then I've got a lot of questions for you because, as I said, I asked the viewers. I said, here it is. I'll show you. I asked them. I said, I'm recording with Ellio tomorrow, and there's 135 questions we have to get through. So I'm going to go through them very quickly. First of all, you seem very excited about some surprises that you're going to drop. Maybe just we won't tell anyone. We're all family here. We're not, whatever you'd say here stays here. No one's going to share it with anyone. You know that. When you tell me something, it's just me and you.
I appreciate that.
So tell me what's happening.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I've constantly done is try to understand where, I can be the best help to the industry, where I can be the best help to the pain points of the entire movement. And as my first and primary focus is on the projects that I've created, and those being Superverse, which includes Imposters as the game, and NeoTokyo. And so one of the things that I've been, trying to focus on is just how can these projects be the ultimate sort of help, not just to, our own holders, our own community, but to how can we be of service to the movement at large? And that's something that has been my mentality from the beginning, is how can I use my channel and use my work product to be of service to this industry? And that's always my sort of primary lens. Now with NeoTokyo, obviously people have been seeing what's been going on. The vision has been really simple from day one. We wanted to create this group of holders that were exclusively focused on building the metaverse, exclusively focused on it. And this is from an idea I came to Alex Becker with back in 2021, where I said, hey, look, this metaverse thing is exploding so fast. No one can keep track of it. There's not one person that can have their arms wrapped around this whole thing, playing all the games, experiencing all of them. We need a village. And we set out to create that village, and it's called NeoTokyo. And one of the things you'll see is that it was one of the only projects that ended up flipping Bored Apes in floor price back in 2021. It's a smaller supply, so it's not like a true flip, right? But in the end, it really showed that there was a passion for this. And even throughout the bear, that community's been extremely passionate, extremely focused. And now you're seeing that crypto gaming is getting a little bit more shine, a little bit more heat. The narrative or the focus of that community has taken the spotlight again, because everyone wants to be a part of this club. And so that is serving the industry by creating a place for builders and founders to get together and to effectively network and find resources to invest in things. It's essentially like a Soho house.
I see a lot of people have actually joined it. I mean, I saw this tweet: the Web3 gaming industry will be worth trillions. Becker and Ellio created NeoTokyo, the place to find 100x gaming coins. We found 17 projects that recently joined NeoTokyo, and they list PYR, S-Fund, Sidus, Naka, Bull, Shrap, so Altura. Just so, I mean, is it that this project is getting a lot more momentum now? Is that what's going on here? Is that why all of a sudden this is happening, or has this been happening all along?
So there's definitely been little bits all along, but one of the things that Becker and I agree on is that when you stay focused and you understand that timing is obviously the most important ingredient in most ventures, we knew that by essentially building this arc for founders and builders and sort of creating this community that people would get value out of, that when the time was right, people would line up to get in, and it, sort of slowly, then all at once, as they say. And so what you're seeing right now is the product of years of sticking to a very specific vision. And you see a lot of negativity in the NFT space. And in my opinion, that negativity comes from a lot of projects having unclear visions, right? And they don't have a clear reason why this JPEG is worth holding. And from the very beginning, we we had a very clear vision as to why you would be a part or why you would want to hold a NeoTokyo citizen. And that's what's created this incredible community. And that's one of the reasons why it's been so enduring. And when the market started to get exciting again, that reason became the center focus. And so, yeah, slowly, like we saw a lot of founders join, but then all at once, everybody wanted to be a part of it. And then it got quite hard to get in.
What is NeoTokyo bytes? What is the bytes? What is this chart? I see it's gone parabolic. What are bytes? Why should I own bytes? Why is it going crazy?
So bytes are effectively the internal sort of mechanism that citizens use for various projects, and they allow for citizens to get access to different citizen opportunities. In this case, one of the most obvious ones is, and by the way, as founders, Alex Becker and I are not creating all of these aspects of the project. And that's been the spirit of NeoTokyo, is we wanted the builders to come in and everyone contribute. And so one of the things that citizens have contributed is a Launchpad. And this is not a project that Alex Becker and I have built. It's not an entity that we own or that we actually have any official relationship to. This is a citizen created project that will allow for people to get into. It's like a Launchpad competitive in some ways with Seedify, but there's totally different deal flow. And so that's one use for bytes, is that the more bytes you have, the more allocation you can sort of get access to in this deal flow. Bytes are actually yielded, or you can stake your citizens and it will emit different levels of bytes depending on the status of your citizen. And then there's also what we call incentivized build, where bytes are effectively designed in a very gamified way to get people to build stuff for NeoTokyo. It's this internal sort of mechanism that runs what we call the Citadel, which is this NeoTokyo community that allows for people to incentivize different behaviors. And this is the way that we believe NeoTokyo is also tremendously different, is that it's not just one founder or one group saying, here's what's next all the time. It's a whole village, a whole army of thousands of one of, I believe, the smartest and some of the most aggressive long-term believers in the space contributing. And that's what makes NeoTokyo special. And people, I think, are right now seeing bytes as a more accessible way to sort of be a part of the NeoTokyo thing, because the citizens have become rapidly too expensive, I think, for a lot of people to get their hands on.
What does a citizen cost?
Last time I checked, they were trading between 18 and 22 ETH for the S1 citizen. And the outer citizen, which is the more accessible citizen, not quite as many privileges as the S1, that was 2 to 3 ETH.
All right, look, we are running out of time, so let's go into Super and Superverse. It's had a fantastic run. So walk me through what's happening here. What is Superverse about now? I know you guys had the marketplace. You guys decided to exit the marketplace, which I think was a very smart strategy in an industry.
So what we're doing right now with Super, and what is something that I've been excited to do, is right now Super has one mission, but it's about to enter into a new phase, which is not yet announced. And the thing that's exciting about it is it's about providing, once again, a critical resource for the entire movement and the entire crypto gaming world. And that's what's going to be so exciting, is that I believe that it functions as a sort of glue in this space, much like NeoTokyo does, but in very different ways. And this is going to be what I think of as the most exciting new chapter that I've had as a founder. And I'm excited to do what I think of as a tremendous service for this space, and solving some of the biggest problems I see in the space, on a community level and eventually an infrastructure level. And so this is a massive transition for Super. It's not yet announced, so I don't want to go into the details, but I think that there's a lot of people who understand that, it's easy to see new shiny things in a bull run. But when you see teams and you see people that continue to contribute to the space aggressively without changing their tune in good weather and bad weather, that's when you start to see the excitement and faith in those projects start to explode. And so the Super move to me is something that I don't focus on. I don't think about price. I don't talk about price, but I'm super excited about what comes next. And I'm very passionate about this project. NeoTokyo and Superverse and Imposters are, of course, where I spend the vast majority of my time.
When are we going to see an Imposters game?
So the game's already being tested, but we have a very exciting new hire that we're going to be announcing here in the very next few days. An absolute killer veteran that's come in to lead the studio to the full mainstream rollout of this game. They are, I believe, a qualified legend in the space. And in my opinion, well, not my opinion, this is their show now, right? They are going to be the ones deciding exactly the timing and cadence of the full Imposters release. But it's something I believe in. One of the things that Imposters solves for, and one of the reasons why it's going to be interesting, is that it's not trying to go after this sort of first-person shooter, immersive type of gaming that people are all competing for. It's going after a strictly social type of gaming that's all about content. And it's one of the most viral game styles. And it's taking kind of a different lane. And there's almost no other games taking this lane, especially in this industry. And so it's what I consider a blue ocean, right? And it's really about creating content from the gameplay that goes viral. And it's about more a play on gaming culture, which I think is the most important thing to focus on, because we have a generation that think they hate NFTs. And that is not the case. These gamers love NFTs. They just haven't played a game that they love with NFTs yet.
Amazing. Ellio, listen, it's been absolutely amazing speaking to you. I love it. I think what I'm going to propose is that the next one that we do, we'll bring Hustle and we'll bring Alex Becker, and we'll do one of those real DJ style banter Fridays here, right here on In the Game. So listen, thank you. Much love from the Banter fam, much love from the In the Game fam. We'll see you again soon, my friend. And keep us updated. We'd love to hear what you're talking about, what you're doing.
Of course.
Cool, my friend. Thank you very much.